Once upon a time in the heart of Italy, there was a beautiful city called Florence. It was surrounded by rolling hills and vineyards, with the river Arno flowing gently through it. Florence was famous for its old bridges, tall churches, and most of all, for the streets filled with art and music. Every corner of Florence looked like a painting. But in this beautiful city lived a young man named Luca, who was very different from the busy artists and merchants around him. Luca was lazy. He always said, "I will do it tomorrow." He loved to sleep late, watch the clouds, and avoid work. While his friends learned painting or helped their families in shops, Luca spent his time lying near the river Arno, dreaming about an easy life. One day, Luca decided to visit a nearby village to see what life was like outside Florence. As he walked along the path, he met an old farmer carrying a basket of ripe tomatoes. "Where are you going?" asked Luca. "To the market in the next village," the farmer replied. "I sell these tomatoes to buy some bread for my family." "And why don't you plant a vegetable garden and grow your own food instead of working so hard?" asked Luca. "Because you need seeds to plant a vegetable garden, water to water the plants, and tools to harvest the vegetables. And I am too lazy to get them all," the farmer said with a smile. "Laziness won't get you anywhere, my boy. Hard work is the key to success in life," he added, patting Luca on the shoulder before continuing on his way. But Luca didn't listen to the farmer's words. He was too busy daydreaming about a life without any hard work. When he finally arrived at the village, he realized that life was exactly the same. There were still houses, shops, and people everywhere, and none of it was made without hard work. Soon, Luca returned home feeling disappointed. He knew his father was right, but instead of learning the family business, he spent his days lying on the grass, staring into the blue sky and thinking about how nice it would be to live without working hard. Luca's father was a clockmaker. He repaired old clocks and sold new ones in a small shop near the city square. The shop was famous because the father was skilled and people trusted him. But the father was getting old and sick. One evening, he said to Luca, "Son, it is time you learn the family trade. You must take care of the clocks when I cannot." Luca frowned. "But father, fixing clocks is hard." "I don't like hard work," his father sighed. "Hard work builds character, my son. Without work, you will never grow." The next morning, a rich merchant brought a giant clock to their shop. It was broken and very important because it was used in the city tower. The merchant said, "This clock must be fixed in 10 days. If you do it, you will receive good money." The father looked at Luca. "This is your chance. Fix this clock." For the first 3 days, Luca did nothing. He looked at the clock, turned it around, but didn't open it. He kept saying, "I will start tomorrow." He spent his days sitting in the cafe, drinking coffee, and talking to friends about dreams of becoming rich without working. On the 4th day, his best friend Marco came to visit. Marco was a painter who worked hard every day. "Luca," Marco said, "why haven't you started?" "It looks difficult," Luca replied. "I don't know where to begin." Marco shook his head. "You must begin, even if it's small. Start with 1 screw, 1 gear. Small steps lead to big results." That evening, Luca walked near the city square and met an old woman selling flowers. She saw him looking worried and asked, "Why do you look so lost?" "Young man, I have to fix a clock, but I am too lazy," Luca admitted. The old woman smiled. "Do you know the secret to overcoming laziness?" "What is it?" Luca asked. "Start with 5 minutes," she said. "Tell yourself, 'I will work for 5 minutes only.' Once you start, you will find energy to continue." Luca thought about her words. Could 5 minutes change his life? The next morning, Luca tried the old woman's advice. He told himself, "I will work for 5 minutes." He opened the clock carefully and looked at the gears inside. The gears were dusty and rusty. He cleaned them for 5 minutes, and then 5 more, and soon an hour passed. For the first time, Luca felt proud. The work was not as hard as he imagined. Day by day, Luca worked a little more. He read his father's old books about clockmaking. At first, he made many mistakes. Screws fell, gears didn't fit, the clock stopped ticking. But each mistake taught him something new. Marco visited again. "I see progress," Marco said with a smile. Luca grinned. "I am not lazy anymore." Well, almost. By the 9th day, the clock was almost ready. But on the night of the 9th day, a strong wind blew through the city. and part of their workshop window broke. Dust entered the clock and jammed the gears. Luca felt panic. I will never finish on time. But then he remembered the old woman's words. Start with 5 minutes. He took a deep breath, worked step by step, and didn't stop until the first light of morning. On the 10th day, the merchant returned. Luca showed him the repaired clock. They placed it in the city tower. When the bell rang at noon, the whole square filled with beautiful sound, clear, strong, and perfect. The merchant clapped his hands. Excellent work, young man. Luca's father had tears in his eyes. I am proud of you, son. From that day, Luca changed. He still loved watching clouds and drinking coffee, but he worked hard first. He became one of the best clockmakers in Florence. And whenever young people asked him how he overcame laziness, he always said, start with 5 minutes. Small steps change everything. Luca had been gifted with a sharp mind and nimble fingers from birth. With those gifts, he could have done great things, but he wasted his time. Because of his laziness, he could have become a famous artist, but he preferred to lie around. He could have been a talented musician, but he preferred to dream while sitting on the grass. He could have learned his father's craft and become the best clockmaker in Florence, but he preferred to spend his days in cafes. In the end, though, his life ended up just like anyone else's. He married, had children, and grew old. Before he died, he regretted wasting his talents. If we waste our talents and abilities because of our laziness, we will regret it later. Our talents are the gifts given to us by God. We should use them to make ourselves and others happy. Many students waste their time playing games or using social media instead of studying hard. Although they have the ability to become successful, they often fail to achieve their goals because of their laziness. Similarly, some individuals possess artistic talents, but they squander their abilities by indulging in leisure activities. If we don't use our talents, they will be wasted. Therefore, it is crucial to develop our talents from an early age and not be lazy. While reading this story, you may have thought about your own life. Do you also waste your time and energy? Do you also indulge in unnecessary things and ignore your responsibilities? Remember, wasting time is not just about being unproductive. It's about missing out on opportunities and failing to reach your potential. Time goes by quickly and we can't get it back. That's why we must value our time and use it wisely. Being lazy can cause us to lose opportunities and achieve nothing in our lives. However, if we take small steps towards our goals, we can be successful. It's okay to start small, but we must start. Just like Luca, who was able to fix the clock by taking small steps. Similarly, we can achieve our goals by breaking them down into smaller tasks and taking action. To overcome laziness, we need to identify the reasons behind it. Sometimes we are lazy because we are bored or don't enjoy the task. Other times we may be afraid of failure or feel overwhelmed. Whatever the reason, it's important to find ways to stay motivated and focused on our goals. So don't wait for the right time or motivation. Start now and take small steps towards your goals. Believe me, this approach will change your future. Now tell us in the comments, what small step are you going to take today to improve your life? Please share your thoughts. Thank you for listening and see you next time.